What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm Noah Strackbine, joined always by my main man, Jacob Punturi. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk or subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers preparing for the Baltimore Ravens. But man, the conversations that we are having are not game related whatsoever. Things are nuts in the world of the black and gold right now, and we're talking two of their biggest names who may be on their way out, and one Pittsburgh Steelers insider is making it known that the team is already considering it, plus a wild Tomlin landing spot that no one other than Ben Roethlisberger could come up with. And it's Wednesday, which means what's more likely? It's cold one here in the Burgh. Got to watch Adam Thielen for the first time. Looks like Adam Thielen. You know what I mean? It's hard to judge guys in practice, but I will say he doesn't look bad. Number 16 is always ugly, but he makes it look good. How you feel, my friend?
feeling probably better than Adam Thielen is wearing number 16. That's tough. That's a tough look. You think he had to give J.R. Plumlee like $7 for that number? You think that was the going rate for that uniform number right now?
The worst part of that is that Plumlee switched to 82, but is still practicing as a quarterback, which is just this is all thrown out. It's an awful looking practice for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Nobody looks good out there. It is. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Incredible. I gotta say I'm doing better than that, all things considered. So yeah, I mean, yeah, listen, you when you messaged me about what you wanted to talk about today, I was like, okay, you got my interest, man. So I don't want to take up any more time from the topics that you wanted to discuss today.
I appreciate it. It is a wild day for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're going to talk about the big topic here in just a moment, but we have a news and notes that I think is also pretty big. It has been a pretty chaotic, interesting 24 hours for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot's being said. This one from their former quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger. We're going to start with Ben on Mike Tomlin before we dive into Cam and TJ here, because I think this is just as interesting. Share with the people what the Steelers' future Hall of Fame quarterback had to say about his last head coach and where he should be next season, because it's not Pittsburgh and it's not in the NFL.
Bang on. Good old Ben Roethlisberger had this to say about a potential landing spot. How about this? Go be Penn State's head coach. You know what he would do at Penn State? He'd probably go win national championships because he's a great recruiter. And then he goes on to say, maybe it's a clean house time regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like Coach Tomlin. I have a lot of respect for Coach Tomlin, but maybe it's best for him too. Maybe a fresh start for him is what's best, whether that's in the pros or maybe going to be Penn State's head coach.
I have to say that, first off, shout out Ben. I don't think that he said this with the intention of everybody in the world being like, did you just push Tomlin to Penn State? Is that the narrative that you're running with right now? I don't think he thought that once as it came out of his mouth. I think he was just talking, and he's still getting new to the media thing. He loves to rattle off things and then later probably realize like, oh, I am a national headline, huh? That's probably not the best situation. He's not wrong. Mike Tomlin would be an incredible college coach because everybody would want to go play for Mike Tomlin, and he's not Bill Belichick, which means he's not a lunatic. His wife doesn't get involved. Everything's fine. I think he'd be fantastic. He would never go to college. It would not happen. I'd be terrified to be the guy who did ask him, hey, Mike, what about Penn State? Did you ever consider Penn State? Because when USC came up, I thought somebody was going to get knocked out when they asked that question. Shout out to Tim Benz. There's not a booster check blank. Yeah, there's not a big enough blank booster check to go to USC. Could you imagine Penn State? No chance. Again, I think he'd be fantastic. I don't even think there's a world of I don't think there's a universe out there where Mike Tomlin is coaching college football over the NFL, because he'll get a job in about 3 seconds once he actually gets fired.
Yeah, and I mean, again, to use Mike Tomlin's words, never say never, but never. There's no chance this man goes back to coach college football unless it is, the Bill Belichick 30 years from now. He's doing one last go round for glory's sake here. Barring that NFL coach, in my mind, I don't see him going to the NCAA ranks anytime soon. I love these crazy suggestions, and I hope they just get wilder as these months go on here, as the questions and uncertainty surrounds the Steelers as the season plays out, because I'd love nothing more than to hear, like, you hear who's Mike Tomlin is going after Mike Tomlin. It's like Marshall. It's like, what?
Him and Ryan Day are swapping head coaching positions. He's going to Ohio State. Ryan Day's coming to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only place that I could actually see Mike Tomlin like going to and being like, okay, maybe, is Penn State. And that's because he spends so much time there anyways that I just think he'd look at it and be like, I think I could go win every national. I think I can make Nick Saban look like a okay college coach by the time it's all said and done with how good of a coach I could be at Ohio State. I truly think he would. That being said, he would never consider it, ever. He'd have a job in 2 seconds. He's not going to go recruit kids. That's not where Mike Tomlin is. Could you imagine being like, yeah, last year I was having bonfires with Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, and Jalen Ramsey. Today I'm sitting on a 16-year-old's couch in Missouri trying to get him to come to Ohio State and play with me. No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Ben,
depending on the context you hear that sentence, it makes the world of difference, brother. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody clip it. All right. Shout out to Tomlin. Shout out to Big Ben, man, who gives us something as much as he can. Let's talk about the big topic, what everybody came here to talk about today. The news that caught your eye as I sent it to you not too long ago, to be honest with you. The news that caught my eye when I read it. I'm skimming through good old Jerry Dulac's weekly chat this week, and not one, but two references to TJ Watt and Cam Hayward potentially leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers were mentioned, both of which had a little bit of oomph behind them to hint as if these thoughts are already out there. I'm fascinated. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. Let the people know what good old Jerry said. And I will, he was not there today. He was not at the locker room today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I would have said anything to him, but the whole time I was thinking, like, I have to catch Jerry in like a private conversation because I have to know what's going on here. I got to know if this is real. And I will find out more. But for right now, we're going to go off his words here. What were they?
We are all interested to know some intentions, some context behind this for sure. So we'll be eagerly awaiting an update from you as far as that's concerned. But Jerry Dulac was asked, or more mentioned, a comment that was brought to him that said something along the lines of, this is from a fan that put into his mailbag questions thing. Time to let Hayward and Watt move on, get on with life's work, lots of money with little to show. And Dulac replied with, it might be heading in that direction. He'd follow that up with a little bit more by saying, that's why some interesting financial decisions will be made in the offseason. Seems to be about maybe two players in particular. I don't know.
There might be interesting financial decisions made in the offseason was directed about a question that was asked that Cam may not be worth the money. And Jerry was saying, well, and that came before the TJ comment. I took both of them and said, Jer, this is stirring the pot in a big way, because there were two names on the Pittsburgh Steelers throughout all of this, throughout all of the chaos, throughout all of the fire Tomlin chants, throughout all of this ship is sinking. Where does it go? Who stays? Who do you get rid of? TJ Watt, Cam Hayward weren't going anywhere, especially TJ Watt. Maybe you forced Cam Hayward into retirement and said, look, dude, this was a fun time. We had a great run. Wish we could have got you a Super Bowl. We're moving on. TJ wasn't going anywhere. He was, in my eyes, he was never even a consideration. Here's where it gets interesting. TJ's contract technically doesn't kick in until next season. You can't get rid of him. It's like $98 million in dead cap space. It would be absolutely insane. But you could trade him. And you don't have to trade TJ Watt for some massive draft pick if all you're thinking is get rid of TJ Watt before this contract becomes unbearable and he's not playing up to it, which means you could trade TJ Watt for significantly less than what TJ Watt's value is just to ditch a bad contract. Cam, I think the only way out of it is to force retirement. He's set to make $22 million next year. I don't know. I would have never thought that either of these names are a possibility. But when you break it all down, when you look at it, if the Steelers really are thinking these things, I mean, there are ways around it, ways to get out of bad situations here for the Steelers. And I'm sure that somebody would take a call for TJ. You know, I don't know who it would be, but I'm sure I'm sure the New England Patriots would say Drake May's a rookie or on a rookie contract. Stephon Diggs is our big giant wide receiver contract of like $14 million. And we have no massive deals anywhere. We could take on $42 million for the next 2 seasons. I'm sure there's a couple of those teams out there. I, again, would have never thought about it until today. Now that Jerry's floating it out there, it's obviously on the brain. What were your thoughts when you saw this happen, when you saw it all go down?
Well, I think my mind starts to immediately go in a slightly different direction when it comes to who those interesting financial decisions are regarding. I think TJ Watt is, of course, something you have to consider. He's your most expensive player. All of this drawn out contract negotiations. Is he worth it? Is he not? Is the value there? Those conversations are going to remain. I think Cam Hayward, there's no space for him to come back on the contract that he is currently under. He's not worth that money anymore. It is an unfortunate circumstance, but he is very much fallen into the category of, beloved Steelers veteran who has played past his prime, and the Steelers will either be like, you can go or you can go. And that's about it. And so I think that's what we're looking at for next year. But when I think about these interesting financial decisions, I look at Alex Highsmith. I look at Jalen Ramsey, who has an interesting out following this season. I look at those 2 players right there. And now you're talking about a swing somewhere of, 25 to $40 million in terms of how you're swinging your salary cap situation. There's a lot that can be done there. And I think especially when you look at how underwhelming this expensive defense has been all season long, there's a lot of money invested there. You're not getting the results and the production that you expected for that money. That's where you have to focus those efforts. Because you look at who's your only other big money player on the other side of the ball. It's DK Metcalf. They're not getting rid of him. People like Asante Samuel Sr. might be really upset with him and not think he is a difference maker of a player. But the Steelers committed $132 million to him. He is their offensive weapon. He's staying. The interesting financial decisions, my initial response has to be, which defensive players are on the fringe? And is it more than we think? Is it not just the stars? Is it everybody on the defensive side of the ball?
I think it is everybody. I think anybody who has a contract beyond 2026 that is worth more than $10 million is a guy who could be gone, is a guy that you have to look at and say, maybe it's time to move on from him. Maybe it's time to go younger at a position. Alex Highsmith, like you said, is a name. Jalen Ramsey, I think, is another name. I think you could add guys like Patrick Queen in there. I think Jonnu Smith is a definite to be on that list. I think Pat Freiermuth is a possibility to be on that list. I think pretty much anybody who, again, is not playing up to their cap hit is on that list. I also think TJ's on that list. As crazy as that sounds, I think when you think about it all, TJ is going to be on that list. Let me ask this question, because I'll get to if you truly believe TJ could be gone, Cam could be gone, which I think are 2 different conversations, but relative at the same time. Mm-hmm. I have defended Omar Khan a lot throughout the entire process. I still do. I look at Omar Khan and say, you build a team for your head coach, but in Pittsburgh, you don't make moves without talking to your head coach. You know, Omar doesn't do something like trade Chase Claypool and then call Mike T and say, hey, brother, just giving you a heads up. He's actually already gone. I hope you said goodbye. No, that's not how that happens. You communicate. Now we're talking about the crazy possibility of a guy like TJ Watt leaving and being kicked out because of his financial situation. Jalen Ramsey got money added to his deal. Jonnu Smith got money added to his deal. DK Metcalf, massive contract. These are not coaching decisions. These are front office GM decisions. Is this offseason as a whole, the one that just passed, like, can it be used? Because I'm not ready to fire Omar Khan over one bad offseason. You're never going to get me to do that. Can it be used to say the Pittsburgh Steelers, in their new-minded GM of Omar Khan, maybe got a little bit ahead of themselves, or very ahead of themselves, and just started throwing money all over the place? And it was that part we could put on Omar Khan.
Yes, that part I think falls. The roster construction, the architecture of it, I think belongs to Mike Tomlin. I said something along these lines yesterday. I maintain that belief. The engineering of it, the minutia is certainly up to Omar Khan and how that all works out. And I am not a fan of the financial decisions that the Pittsburgh Steelers handed out. I was not a fan of giving Jonnu Smith more money before you even saw him play a single snap for you. I was not a fan of guaranteeing certain parts of Jalen Ramsey's contract after you acquired him. I understand why you would have to. And I think there was this air of infallibility, there's our SAT word of the day here, regarding Omar Khan's decision-making that I think has been pretty much debunked this year. And I am in agreement with you. I like Omar Khan a lot. I think he is a very good GM. And Lord knows there are some really, really bad general managers in the National Football League, like terribly bad. Let's not put Omar Khan anywhere near that level. Not his best work this year. I'm not willing to move on from him. This hasn't been 18 years of this or something like that, but it is something that makes you go, okay, maybe we don't need to put all of our chips, go all in here on veterans that are over 30. Maybe that's not an approach we want to emulate and replicate beyond 2025. And that's okay. You live and you learn, right? I'm okay with that in principle. But yeah, this was, partially what is Omar Khan's to take credit for and responsibility for. Let's certainly say that. I think I'm about that.
Yes. Again, like, you're not firing anybody, but I will say that this was a bad offseason for Omar Khan. Where we sit today, it was a rough one and I think the draft worked out very well. I think Derek Harmon's a fantastic player with a super big upside. I like what Jack Sawyer's evolving into. I like what Y.E. Black's evolving into. I'm not against what the Steelers did. I think Caleb Johnson's got some upside, whether he's going to show it one day or not. I think in terms of contracts, trades too. I had no issues with any of the trades. It's all the money. It's all the money that got tossed around. All right, let's bring it back here. Do you think there's really a world where TJ's gone in the offseason?
No, I don't. I think there is that feels to me like a step beyond. Here's a team rebuilding, taking definitive steps to clean house, taking definitive steps to reset the organization. That feels like we are tearing this thing down, not just rebuilding, but just sort of giving up all hope whatsoever. TJ Watt is the centerpiece of this franchise. Be frustrated with the season he's having. Be frustrated with whatever player, whoever you would like to, and how they are underwhelming. And your reasoning is probably valid, but there's no reason, even with the extension, even with TJ Watt slightly underperforming, for him to not be a member of this team moving forward. As you build around him, as you build forward with whatever new direction the Steelers go into, you need these players, these leaders, and TJ Watt is fundamental to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have no reason to believe they would move on from him, and I would be disappointed if they did.
I think that if the Steelers got rid of Alex Highsmith and fixed their scheme, that TJ could be a fantastic player once again, because I think at some point the NFL is going to get to a place where you play the Pittsburgh Steelers and you don't have to chip TJ all the time. And that's when TJ has become super dangerous again. I agree with you. I think Cam, I have a hard time seeing Cam on the roster in 2026. I do. I like Cam. I think Cam's playing like pretty well in a bad defense. I don't think this is his worst season. It's TJ's. This is TJ's worst season. Like TJ looks, he's got 7 sacks through 12 games. Like if he doesn't hit 10, I don't think any of us would be surprised. And that would be crazy. But I, again, like think the entire defense is terrible right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with coaching. But I have a hard time seeing Cam in 2026. I have a hard time seeing anything but TJ in 2026. TJ is going to be in Pittsburgh, you know? Yeah, and the only reason I'll say this, Mike Tomlin leaves before TJ does. Easy. Mike Tomlin leaves before TJ does, unless it's retirement. Like if TJ retires, that's a different situation. But in the terms of the Steelers getting rid of someone, or that person, because they wouldn't fire Mike T. It would be a mutual thing, whatever. In terms of either of them leaving before retirement, Mike T's gone before TJ is, in my opinion. Mike T would never let TJ go.
I certainly agree with that yes, because 2027 is when his contract ends, Tomlin's.
Yeah.
I don't
and I could see another coach come in here. No, I think another coach could come in here and be like, we're getting rid of TJ, you know? But if Mike T's here, TJ ain't going nowhere. It just wouldn't.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a
we'll
thinker,
see what happens.
But I agree.
It is. It's Jerry dropped a bomb, dude. The middle of the day, Jerry dropped a bomb. And it was just
Jerry bomb.
It was a Jerry bomb. And it was crazy. And I will. All right, let's finish it off with this one. We do this for everything, so we might as well do it here. Cam Hayward. Chances Cam Hayward's on the roster in 2026, 1 to 10. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead. I hope you have to go in and interview him on Friday after you say this.
I would love nothing more than to talk to him. 3 out of 10. I think it has something has to change, right? Like they're going to come into this offseason being like, we're evaluating everything. We're going to make big changes. I think maybe there is a way to sneakily and quickly rebuild this defensive line without Cam Hayward. And so I think it is probably a 3 out of 10, unless he is, on a reworked contract and things turn around in a hurry. I don't see it. What about you?
I think 3 is a good number. I think I'm going to go like, I think I'm going to go 2. Maybe 2.5. I think I'm below a 3. Yeah. I just don't. There's so much change that's going to happen this offseason. And it makes it so difficult for me to envision a world where they don't force retirement here. Where they've done it with everybody, with every single person. And it doesn't matter who you are. You hit a point where you retire. And Cam is he's going to be 37 years old. 37 years old. You gotta force him out at some point. And I just think they're going to be trying to get looks at Y.A. Black and Derek Harmon and Keanu Benton, and decisions will have to be made. And I don't know. TJ Watt, 1 to 10 odds.
8.
That he's here.
That he's here. 8 out of 10. Yeah. I feel super confident in him being a Steeler beyond this season and probably forever.
I'm going to go. I'll pass you on this one too. I'll go a 9.5. 9.5. I think things could change drastically depending on how the next 5 games go, because if TJ does nothing, the Steelers lose their next 5 games, that's a whole other conversation. You know what I mean? You just finished 6-11. Who knows what's going to happen in the offseason? I don't expect that to happen. I expect them to, win a game or 2 and be that close, and all the nonsense that comes with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think because of that, 9.5. Crazy time. Shout out to the Jerry and the Jerry bomb, dude. Can't wait to talk to him tomorrow. All right. With that said, it's Wednesday. Let's finish off our agenda here with a little what's more likely. And honestly, I don't know what to expect on these. I'm excited for them. I feel like the conversation the last week and a half has been so nuts that anything's possible here, my friend. So I'm excited for them. What do you got?
Yeah, to quote the great Kevin Garnett, anything's possible. Here's our first what's more likely today, where we're talking about impact players. Oh, Loretta just came down. Hi, baby girl. And so let's start off with the first one here. Do you think it is more likely, Noah, that Lamar Jackson, superstar quarterback of the Baltimore Ravens, runs for 100 plus rushing yards, something he has not done at all this season? Or do you think it's more likely that we see DK Metcalf finally knock off the schneid, and I'm talking 85 plus receiving yards and a touchdown? The last time he did that was week 6 versus the Cleveland Browns for 95 yards. What's more likely, Lamar surpasses 100 rushing yards or DK surpassing 85 receiving yards?
Man, Lamar's banged up. He doesn't look good. He's slower. He's slower off the ball. DK doesn't look good. The Steelers' offense is getting worse. Things are melting. On top of that, he's got teammates, dads calling him out. I couldn't even imagine what life is like for DK Metcalf today. Just being like, "What's up, dude? Tell your dad to shut up. How about that? Could you do me a favor and get your dad on the phone so I could tell him to back off a little bit there, brother? Thanks.
My dad can kick your dad's ass."
I bet. I don't know what DK Metcalf's dad looks like. Asante Samuel was an NFL player, so that obviously scary. If you produced DK Metcalf, the man who looks like that while living off of candy bars, I don't know what you look like, but you terrify me. You terrify me. That being said, Lamar going 100 is what's more likely. That sucks that it's Lamar going 100, but it is. The Steelers defense just does not look good right now. The offense doesn't look good. The Ravens defense is coming off a really bad game. I get that, but the Steelers haven't had a good game in forever. So it's hard for me to sit here and say like, oh yeah, DK is going to have 85 yards and a touchdown. I don't know about that one. I'll tell you this. I think it's more likely that Adam Thielen has more receiving yards than DK in this game.
Wow. Which is a perfect little segue into our second what's more likely of the day. We're talking new players. Who's going to have the greater impact for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you think it's more likely, Noah, that Asante Samuel Jr., the Samuel who did not call out DK Metcalf, records an interception for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or do you think it's more likely that Adam Thielen records a touchdown for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think, man, this is a tough one too. I think Asante comes up with an interception only because I don't think the Steelers offense is designed for receiving touchdowns. Does that make sense? Like the Steelers offense is designed to get you to the 6-yard line so that Jaylen Warren and Jonnu Smith and Kenneth Gainwell can rush it in. That's what it's designed to do. I don't know if Thielen's going to get in the end zone. I'm feeling pretty good about Asante. I think Asante is going to play almost every snap for the Steelers this week, and I think they're going to take shots on him. I think Baltimore is going to look at it and say, we're not going to throw to Joey, so we might as well throw to Asante's side and see what you got there. He's still a new buck. Let's see what happens. I would go. I'm feeling good about Asante this week. I'm excited to see what Asante does after a full game of action last week.
I'm excited about Asante Samuel Jr. as well. Not going to hold up, too high of expectations for him, but I'm certainly with you as far as that's concerned. And I understand why you go there and the what's more likely. I want to ask a question about turnovers.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers defense lives and dies by it, even though they're not very good. But I want to know, do you think it's more likely that this Steelers defense continues their MO and they create at least 3 turnovers against the Baltimore Ravens? Or do you think it's more likely that the offense sputters even worse once again and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense gives up 3 or more turnovers? Defense starring, offense sputtering. What's going to happen, dude?
I am going to go, you know what? If I wasn't forced to pick one, I'd say both. I think the defense creates 3 turnovers and the offense gives up 3 turnovers, because this is going to be a defensive battle. I won't say for the ages, because it might be a terrible defensive battle, but it's going to be a defensive battle nonetheless. Man, I'm going to go Pittsburgh in this one. I'm going to go Pittsburgh. I said it yesterday. I'm going to hold true to it. I think Mike Tomlin had some emotion in that game in that press conference that I haven't seen in a long time. Like, I'm talking years from Mike T. Some real, like, hard, actual passion of, like, I am no longer on my pedestal. I have been kicked off by the fan base. I think that leads to an aggressive defense this week. I don't know if the offense is going to figure it out. I don't have any faith that they're gonna. I also don't have faith that the defense is going to come out here being ridiculous. But I do think at some point Kyle Duggar's got to catch a freaking football. I'm adding one already for Asante. All you need is one more. Lamar Jackson doesn't look good. The Steelers typically play well against him. I think it's going to be both, but I'll go what's more likely. I'll go Pittsburgh's defense here.
Yeah, fair enough. I think it's going to be probably a pretty ugly game once again, if I had to guess. But we'll talk more about that in the coming days here. One final one for you, and I think I might have an idea. But I think it's going to be ugly. I think you think it's going to be ugly as well. But does that mean it's going to be a bunch of points, or does that mean it's going to be a 5-2 slobber knocker? Who knows? Do you think it's more likely, Noah, that the Steelers score 24 or more points, or do you think it's more likely that they allow more than 30?
Oh gosh. I think that it's more likely that the Steelers score more than 24 points. The offense has scored in the 20s fairly often this season. Even their 7-point like debacles and their 10-point debacles, they usually come back and then find a 20-point game. I think 24 is reasonable. I don't have faith that Baltimore can score 30 points. I don't think Baltimore's offense is that good. The Derrick Henry decisions that are being made are crazy to me. Lamar does not look good. I don't think they have great wide receivers. I don't see Baltimore's offense impressing me. I do think that the Steelers offense is capable of scoring 24 points. They've done it enough times. It's usually not pretty, but it happens. You almost like forget that it happens. It's like TJ with 7 sacks. You're going, I'm pretty positive TJ's got 0 sacks this season, and then he's got 7, and you're going, oh, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go 24, but I don't feel good about it. And I'm not saying that's a win, but I'm going to say 24.
The only thing I disagree with you about, or disagree with you on, is that the Steelers offense is capable. There's maybe different definitions of the word, but those are my 4 what's more likely for you today.
I love it. We'll see what happens. We'll make our picks on Friday. I'm excited, but I'm nervous at the same time. I told you guys yesterday, I'm feeling like a bounce back for the Steelers is coming. Maybe it's a 1-game bounce back, but I'm feeling it. All right, that's everything on our agenda. We're going to start answering all your questions, guys. Toss them in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
Pittsburgh, this one's for you. From the voices behind All Steelers Talk comes Black and Gold apparel, your go-to for bold, fan-driven merch that reps the city, the Steelers, and everything in between. Whether you bleed black and gold or just love that Pittsburgh grit, we've got something for you. It's more than a podcast. It's a community. And thanks to your support, we're proud to bring the passion from our mics to your closets. Gear up, stand out, and show the world what real fans look like. Shop now at blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com.
All righty. Shout out to our members. Shout out to our super chatters. Can't thank you guys enough. If you got questions, toss them in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can. Before we get going here, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Again, can't thank you guys enough for everything that you do for us. We're going to start with Miguel here. Do you think Mike Tomlin is looking back at the last year and thinking 6-11 in his last 17 games with A-Rod and Russ, but 4-2 with Justin Fields? Shaking my head. Every time I talk about Justin Fields, people tell me, "It's Justin Fields, bro, he sucks." I still believe in Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields could get you to 8-9, 9-8. I think Aaron Rodgers could too, but it looks worse. It's just, like, I just don't know what the line is here. Russ, I think if Russ started a whole season, the Steelers would have been, 6-11. They would have been right where they are right now. It would have been so bad. But yeah, I do. I do. I don't think there is a world anywhere where the Steelers have a veteran starting quarterback next year that isn't named Will Howard or Mason Rudolph. I truly don't. I just don't think that they'd even take a shot at that route once again. I think it's either we're giving Will an opportunity and we're just going to suck, or we're going to draft somebody in the top 3 rounds and we're going to give them an opportunity. But I don't think it'd have to be some like super off the wall starting quarterback. You know what I mean? Like somebody that we didn't see getting released is getting released, or like an Anthony Richardson gets cut and the Steelers are just bringing him in to compete to see if something can happen, but I don't think it's a Joe Flacco or anything like that.
God, yeah. I'm glad that little window where the team was, what were they, like 5-3 or something like that. And we were talking about, maybe they do this again with Joe Flacco next year, like do the same sort of patchwork quarterbacks thing. And if it works, if you're winning, like you can't doubt it, but it doesn't work. But I think Anthony Richardson would be the absolute worst option right now, just a continuation of the Justin Fields model, which is just another way of patchworking this quarterback situation. Does it change your mind if they, we talked about earlier, not on the pod, about the Dane Brugler's mock draft that came out? Like, if Ty Simpson's the guy, like, are you okay with that then? Like, I'm not a huge fan of him personally, but like, I know you are.
Yeah, I like Ty Simpson. I'm not like super in love with this NFL draft class. I also think it's head and shoulders above the draft class last year, like head and shoulders above what they were working with a year ago. And to me, it's like, I think that we're going to hit a place where the quarterbacks are going to fall again. There's going to be like 2 or 3 of them that go early, and then it's going to dip. And this could change a million times before the draft because it's such a roller coaster at the position until draft day. Obviously, asks Shadur Sanders. I think that there's a possibility that guys fall, and I think if Ty Simpson's sitting there in the second round, he's the Steelers quarterback, and I could see that happening, or a guy like that happening. And then I think that's a safe bet because why not? Why would you not take a quarterback in the second round? Because I get it. Second round pick, super valuable. If you could get a second round pick this year, a first round pick next year, who cares? You need a quarterback. Find one. I'd be okay with that. It depends on where they pick and who's available, and I got to see more of how the board's going to shake out because I don't know. Like I like Dante Moore out of Oregon. I'm a big fan of his, but I don't know if he's going to go early or if he's going to go middle of the draft yet, and I think that we got to see how it shakes out.
I hear you. I think the hope that some of these more talented quarterbacks like a Dante Moore are going to fall, like that hope is gone for me. Like, I think the excitement is reaching a fever point, and you're going to see the Raiders, you're going to see the Cleveland Browns, you're going to see the Jets. Like, one of these teams are going to move up to take them. Back. You're right. You're right.
I'm sure right.
You are sure right. Yeah. Now Shadur is going to be back to second string because you got to have Deshaun Watson back, right? If you're in Cleveland and you're like, can we get this guy on the field or what? Let's go. Deshaun Watson. What a guy.
What a guy, dude. What a guy. $230 million to not play football for us. But, man. Shout out to that guy. Did you see the Dov, not to talk Browns here, nobody cares. Did you see Dov Kleiman, who may or may not, I still don't think he's a real human. I think he's AI, tweet out that the Browns have the most stacked quarterback room in the NFL with Dylan Gabriel. I was driving and I was like, I really wanted to quote tweet it and be like, the Steelers quarterback room might actually be better than Cleveland's quarterback room still, which is disgusting to say. But shout out to Dov, dude. He is just an AI bot he's fun, man. He's a fun AI bot. He's a good time. He's a good time.
Great.
30 years from now, we'll have
I'm
it
against AI. This is why I'm against it, because of Dove climbing.
Because of Dove climbing, dude. Because of Dove climbing. So true. So true. Let's keep it trucking here. Eddie the First, all caps. Steelers need to do right by TJ. Trade him to a contender for picks. Don't do him like Houston did JJ and ruin his Hall of Fame career. Sure. I think TJ, you want to go to New England? I think they'll take you. You want to go to Denver? I think they'll
take him. Like for what though? Like
a third round pick.
Trade him to a yeah. Okay. Do you think the Steelers want to do? Do you think that's how they want their end? Like maybe I'm crazy for this thought. I think the Steelers would rather release him when he's awful than trade him while he still has value for a third round pick. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I just think the Steelers would rather do that.
Me too. I don't think that. And I also don't think TJ wants to leave. Like, I don't think TJ has any interest in getting out of here. I think he's pissed. I think next year, if things aren't going well, that's a different situation. Because I think at some point he'll look at it and say, I would like to win a Super Bowl. That would be awesome. I would like to win a playoff game. That would be a good time. Yeah. But I don't think this offseason is the offseason that he'll say that. Although I wouldn't rule it out if next year is. If this happens again in 2026 and TJ's going, guys, I appreciate everything we've done here. Get me out of here. Send me somewhere that, could do anything. Could do anything. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Suicidal Duff. Can't kill Omar's draft picks other than Broderick have been A1. They took home run swings in free agency and they didn't pan out. Yeah, I think Omar does have pretty decent draft picks. I don't think all of them are great. Broderick, no. I think Joey's got potential enough for a second round pick to be okay. If he really was a first round pick, I'd be a little more critical of the situation. I think Derek Harmon looks good. I think Jack Sawyer looks good. Nick Herbig looks good. So, yeah, I think Omar's draft picks are good. I think some of his free agent signings are good too. Like, I think Isaac Seumalo is near the end of his career, but I don't think Isaac Seumalo was a bad player when they signed him. I thought he was exactly what they needed for the last 2 years to just be that guy. You look at Kenny G, I think is a great pickup. Who am I missing here? I think Deshaun Elliott, fantastic move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what I mean? So I think he's had some wins. I do.
Yeah. Yes. I like Omar Khan a lot. I'm a fan of how he works. I'm for the most part, a fan of the moves that he has made since he's taken over the position. Can't be perfect. No one's expecting him to, and I think this is where he sits. He's just not a perfect general manager. He's made mistakes, but I think the things that he has done well far outweigh it.
Yes. Very, very much so true. Very much so true. Diamond, I hope they keep Kyle Duggar. And replace his hands with super glue. That's what I hope that they do. I think if Kyle Duggar catches a fifth of his interceptions that fall into his hands, he's the next Ben Skoranek. He signs and there's no chance of getting rid of him because this dude's a stud. He could go buy a house in Pittsburgh tomorrow. He's your safety 3 next year behind Deshaun Elliott and Jalen Ramsey. Things are awesome. But the man can't catch a football for the life of him. Life of him. I don't have anything near me to throw at myself, but that's what it's I tried, that's like, no, he doesn't. There's no squeeze. It's just
no squeeze.
Pure palm to ball. I agree. I think if he could catch anything, he's there. Do you think that they would consider bringing him back at all or no?
I do. I think they would have to, right? Because he's been a strong fit. He's been not like when you look at the problems since he's shown up, He has not been one of them. He has been a bright spot amongst a very awful defense. So I think they have to consider it just based off of the way he's played since coming over to Pittsburgh. That being said, he still is, a veteran who has starting experience, might get another opportunity to be a starter on another team or be given more of a shot to compete. If the Steelers are going to retain Jalen Ramsey beyond 2025, he and Deshaun Elliott are locked in as your starters at safety.
Yeah.
Does Duggar want to do that again? He left. The reason the Patriots traded him is because he lost his standing within the depth chart and wanted an opportunity to compete, and they obliged. And so that's how he ended up in Pittsburgh. So I don't know if he would want to do that again, in his final couple of years in the NFL, right? Like, I know he's 29, 30, but I think these are what you start to think about in your 30s in the NFL.
I agree. I don't know if anybody would. I think it would depend on the market. Like, is he comfortable just getting a paycheck at 29 years old? Like, is that where he is? I think his agent would know better than we would. But like, if his agent's like, yeah, I think you could get a starting job somewhere, go get a starting job. But if his agent's like, look at brother, you're going to get signed week 8 of the NFL season, take the job. I think that would play a role into it. And if they'd welcome him back, I think I would too. CJ Ross. Sorry. Wild take. Cam at edge, Alex Highsmith's position, YA in the middle, Benton at 3, TJ in the same position. Try this D-line one game and see where it goes. That is a wild take, my friend. Wild take. I got one for you. Why not just start Nick Herbig? Because he's your best outside linebacker right now.
Mm-hmm.
With distance between him and number 2.
Yeah, it's not even close. He's their best linebacker on the outside right now. Here's my wild take, and I've been in a little bit of like 2026 draft mode recently in the past couple of days.
Love it.
Here's my wild take right now. I don't think I want to see YA Black pushed to the nose tackle position. I think I want him and Derek Harmon to stay as quote unquote ends, your D ends, your D tackles. And I really want the Steelers to find a way to get Caden McDonald out of Ohio State, because I think there's your nose tackle. There's your big boy.
What do you do with Keanu? You get rid of Keanu. He's got 1 year left on his rookie deal.
You figure that out. You let him work it out in camp.
Come off the bench. You know what I mean? Keanu starting with YA coming off the bench, I'd be okay with too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I agree. I think that the only issue, I don't think Cam's fast enough to be on the outside. I don't.
No, not at all. Yeah, that's my one actual issue with that is he's not. He
would be so slow against the left tackle.
Yeah.
Suicidal enough. As easy as it is to hate on Cam, he's actually played pretty solid this year. I agree. I think he has been a bright spot. I just think the Steelers overall, he's not a bright spot that you keep for the future. You're not keeping Cam to be like, well, he was our lone bright spot last year. It's like, yeah, he's 37 though. You got to find younger bright spots. And I don't know how you go about that. You just start throwing bricks on or logs on the fire and see if anything catches. But I don't think Cam's one of them. But I agree with you. I do. Tortellini salad. If the Steelers lose the next 5 games, they have to get back into the first round, draft Carnell Tate and a left tackle, and then draft Nick Harbor in the second round. That is a lot of wide receiver talent there. Guys, I don't think, maybe I'm wrong, but and you've been diving into it. Maybe I am wrong here. I don't think Tate's going to make it past pick 12, maybe 15.
I think right now he is, doing a quick little aggregate in my mind. He's the first wide receiver coming off of a lot of boards, and a lot of them have a wide receiver coming off in the first 5 picks. So I don't like Carnell Tate. I would love, right?
Would love him.
I think we have to be looking and talking about players like Mekhi Lemon, Concepcion. You have to be looking at players like that who might be falling a little bit out of the top 15 that might be real talent that the Steelers could get. Left tackle. Now, there's an interesting thing, because I think that's when you're talking about second round, third round picks. I think that's where you're going to probably be able to address the offensive line. When you mentioned how you like the 2026 class so much more than last year, I agree. but not at quarterback. You know what I mean? Like it's about how deep they are in offensive line, defensive line. There's wide receivers out the wazoo. Like there's a lot of positions here that I think the Steelers could use to quickly improve. And I would love to see them be aggressive by, adding an extra pick or moving up to get those players. But I'm not sure if Carnell Tate specifically is who I'm targeting. Nick Harbor in the second, fine. Great with that.
For sure. I do want to, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow here, but there is a false report, and I want to put this to end right now, that Art Rooney left the Pittsburgh Steelers game early against the Bills. And that's from 93.7 The Fan. It is false. It is completely inaccurate. I rode the elevator. Next to Art Rooney.
You said that the other day.
Yeah, I stood next. Yeah, I stood next to Art. Omar stood in front of me, and Dan Rooney stood next to me. And I let them all go in front of me as we got off the elevator after the game ended, as they went to their offices and I went to the locker room. So completely false. Just want to put an end to that right now. I know I love Will Howard. Is it time to start comparing win-loss with Harmon? Yes, because that dude is a stud, brother. A stud. I mean, I'm a huge Derek Harmon fan. I like that we are gaining traction to how good he is, because it's easy to overlook a first-round defensive tackle, but he is good, man. He is so good.
Yeah, right. And like he's not going to have double-digit sacks, right? It's like what a defensive tackle does, and when they are so effective at clogging those gaps, and that when Derek Harmon does his thing, it is often a catalyst for the turnover-heavy defense that the Pittsburgh Steelers have this year. So when he's not on the field, their running defense just falls apart for the firstly, and secondly, there's already no pressure from the middle of the field when it comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You take out Derek Harmon, there is nothing, not even a threat of pressure coming from inside. And so it's quite impressive. Talk about Omar Khan, give him his credit. Derek Harmon is a difference maker along the defensive line, and credit to him for landing him in the first round.
You almost missed him for Shedeur. You almost missed them,
and that would have been stupid. You know what I mean?
I love Will Howard. Should we leave a dodgeball? How to in Duggar's law? Yeah, everybody should just start throwing wrenches at him at all times. If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge
5D's dodgeball.
5D's a dodgeball. ND Joe, since they are throwing anything against the wall to see if it sticks, why not take a page from the Collins show inside Tyrod Taylor for a year? We have nothing to lose at this point. Have you heard about the Tyrod Taylor curse in the NFL, which is a blessing, I think? Where
no, is it the team's bad with Tyrod Taylor? Because I think I could have told you that.
No, listen to this. Listen to this pattern here. The Tyrod Taylor's with the Buffalo Bills. He leaves. They draft Josh Allen. He goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. He leaves. They get Justin Herbert. He goes to I don't know if this isn't in order. He goes to the New York Giants. He leaves Jackson Dart. I think there's one more in there too. I want to say there's one more in there somewhere. I'm just like, it's crazy how it's the Tyrod Taylor curse, where you sign him for a year, you start him, he leaves, and then you get it's like if you're watching like a rom-com and they're like, yeah, you do this and then you'll find your love of your life or something. You'll find your quarterback. Just go sign Tyrod Taylor for a season and say, screw it. 2026 a flop. Let's get Archie Manning.
That'd be great. Listen, and I think that kind of feeds off of what I said a minute ago here. It's because, oftentimes teams who bring in Tyrod Taylor ain't going nowhere. No disrespect to Tyrod Taylor.
No.
It's just because he's a veteran quarterback who gives you steady play, but nothing exceptional. So if that's what leads to the Steelers getting that franchise quarterback in 27, hallelujah. Let's bring him in.
The Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson, the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield. the Los Angeles Chargers, Justin Herbert, the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, the New York Giants, Jackson Dart. It's a real thing. That's crazy. That is crazy. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Bring in Tyrod. Let's start the campaign now. Dougie frustrated. Is Tomlin here through 2027 or not? I think Noah is on the fence on this one. I don't see it happening. The chances are going to get worse. Thanks, fellas. Where we sit today, I would say I feel less than 50% confident that Mike Tomlin will be here through 2027. Till 2027, different story. Through 2027, I don't know. Because I think he'll be here through 2026.
Yes, I think he will be here. I feel very confident, 7 out of 10 that he's here through the duration of his contract.
Yes.
I would also say I'm a 7 out of 10 confident right now that he is not here beyond that.
Oh, I like that. I like that. I don't. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Leroy, to be honest, I know we say fire Tomlin, but odds are he will probably be our head coach next season. At best, they strip him of his play calling ability, and Rooney will be more hands-on. I hope Rooney is not more hands-on. That's the last thing I ever want is for a
more hands-on
owner to be anything but hands-on, but hands-off. Do you think that the Steelers would strip Mike T of his play calling duties next year?
No.
Or Mike T would strip him of himself?
No, I don't think that's one of the changes he'd make, which is funny because he's looking at every possible solution, but I don't think that will be the one they come to. And yeah, Rooney won't be more hands-on. The dude's living his life, man. He ain't running a football team like on the practice field. He wants to read his articles, do his stuff. He's
ride his elliptical and not leave games early.
Yeah, more hands-on the elliptical. That's what it's about.
On the elliptical. Shout out to the stationary bike. Yeah, I think depending on how bad things get, the removal of play calling duties can be up in the air, depending on who they bring in next year as a defensive coordinator. But I think that conversation, I think it's put a pin in the conversation and bring it back at the end of the season when changes are made, because I think that's going to decide everything. I don't think the information is in front of us yet. Mm-hmm. And if they sign like Gerald Alexander, the answer is no. You know what I mean? But you bring in like Robert Saleh, maybe. Maybe. Nicholas, did y'all see Dano's stat that the Steelers have the most defensive snaps and the least offensive snaps? So basically we can't get a first down and we can't get off the field on third down. Yeah, dude, just a big pile of horse crap. That's what that sounds like. Sounds like a big pile of doo-doo. Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like a lot of
fun. I am so sorry. I did miss whatever this was. Because
I don't know what the stat.
Yeah, no. I'm saying I've totally missed whatever you just said and I apologize very much because one, Darius Slay is now a member of the Buffalo Bills. And the Steelers head of PR responded to 93.7 The Fan.
Yes. Yes.
I just saw that and was laughing to myself. So actually out loud, as most people probably just heard. My sources, which include myself, saying that is false. That's incredible. Sorry.
Shout out to Burt Lawton, dude. That's the man right there. That's the man. Shout out to Burt Lawton. You gotta love a good false rumor coming from a radio guy. You gotta love him. You gotta love him. Yeah. So basically, the Steelers stink. That's basically what the status. It's basically the status.
I think what Dano was getting to in that was, I think I saw it on like TikTok or something when I don't know what he posted on originally. Regardless, the way that they are just getting so run down. It's one thing that they are not really scheming correctly, right? Like they could not make the adjustments against the Bills running the same type of play 29 times. Then there's also this impact of if you get run at 29 times and have to make 29 tackles on a back going 25 miles per hour or however fast James Cook runs, like the toll that takes on your defense is astounding. And I think that work, the amount that they have been on the field, is just continuing to worsen these issues that they already have, because if you can't get off the field, how are you going to recover, and the offense does nothing to help. So wild.
It is wild. I mean, I don't know where to put the blame, but I think it goes both sides, and I think it depends on the game, which it's still crazy. ND Joe, if Tomlin is here next year, Rooney is going to turn into the next Carly Ursay Gordon Colts owner. He'll be on the field with the headset. I get so nervous about that, man. He's such a little guy, Shout out to Mr. Rooney. I'm going to be Mr. Rooney one day, but fatter, because we're both just little dudes. You know what I mean? He can't be that. It's cold in Pittsburgh, man. It's cold. It's chilly. Carly's got a dome. Like, he can't be. It's so cold in Pittsburgh. That's all I think all the time. Like, anytime the coaches are coming in and they're like, I'm like, dude, what do you do? Go in the box. Go in the box, man. It's crazy.
It's like, listen, would you want your grandpa out there?
Yeah, for 4 hours?
Like, get a coat on Pappy. What are we doing?
What are we doing? Get him inside, dude. Put the bike inside and stop it. Just stop it. Hey, KJK. Wow, that's a tongue twister. What if Will Howard is the Steelers franchise quarterback? I think there's a 30% chance that we ever find that out. Whether he is or not, I think there's a 30% chance we ever get to find out if he actually is, because I just don't know if he's ever going to get the opportunity to start. I think that next year, if the Steelers draft a quarterback in the first 3 rounds, Will Howard is not the starting quarterback in 2026 and doesn't even get a real shot to prove that he is.
Yeah. I think the larger risk here, it's not a question to me of is Will Howard an NFL starting quarterback or not? Like, that is a very fine question. I think the more relevant, more pertinent one is, will he ever get the chance to prove it or not? And I don't know is the answer to that.
I agree. I very much so agree. Grace and the Ginger. If the Steelers win on Sunday, what do you think the chances are that they have a playoff game at home? If that happens, what are the odds of a win? I do think that I think the only way the Steelers get into the playoffs is through winning the AFC North. I think it's the only outcome right now. So the answer to that is yes. The chances they win are very little, I would say, depending on who they play. You know what I mean? Like, they could luck out and play like a banged up Colts team again that I don't think is super good right now, and I think then their chances are 50-50. I think they could also play the Chargers and lose by 30. And I think that's a possibility too. So I would say it depends on who they play. To give you, I think the highest it goes is a 50-50 shot. But if they have a home game, if they win on Sunday, yeah, I do think that they are in the running to have a home game, because I think the Ravens are just as likely to have a collapse as the Steelers. Like, if the winner of the AFC North won 8 games, would that surprise anybody? No, I don't think so.
Not at all. AFC North is bad this year.
Bad. Tortellini salad. Carnell makes most sense. He's got chemistry with Howard, besides the fact Tate is a beast. Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't think that the Steelers necessarily care about the chemistry with the quarterback that they might not ever give an opportunity to, but I do agree with that. Again, I don't think it has anything to do with Tate as a player. I think it has everything to do with whether or not he goes, 5th to the Tennessee Titans, or 15th to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that's the deciding factor in all of this.
It ain't gonna be 15th.
No. Realish. This draft might be super deep at left tackle and wide receiver. I think the Steelers have to draft 2 wide receivers in this class. I want Chris Brazzell. I still like BJ at left tackle. I think the neck injury may have ended Broderick's time as a Pittsburgh Steeler. I think at bare minimum, I could see a competition, but I don't think he walks into 2026 as like the only option. I could see a Dan Moore situation rolling up real quick with this one. As for 2 wide receivers, I could see 2 wide receivers. Why would you not? You have going into 2026, you have Roman and DK. Roman is anywhere teetering from a wide receiver 3 to a wide receiver 4. And then there's DK, who's a starter, but you need other people around him, other starters around him. I would go 2. I'd feel good about 2.
They need more talent. Like, the offense needs more talent. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts regarding that. I'm just I'm lost right now. He's still like Broderick Jones, a left tackle. That experiment's got to end. You know,
Oh,
respect everybody's opinions. You know, appreciate you throwing it out there. Ooh, I couldn't disagree more with
yeah.
still
Broderick's-
liking Broderick Jones at left tackle.
I
Andrews
agree.
Pete Andrews, that guy's a stud.
Stud. Not really, but stud. Stud. Leroy kind of want Cam at nose, then move everyone else to the outside positions. I think with his strength, he can overpower a lot of centers in the league. I mean, I think Cam would play fine at the nose. I do. I think Cam's playing fine at defensive tackle. I don't think it has anything to do with Cam this season. Like, I don't look at Cam right now as a guy that I'm looking to bench. I'm not trying to put him on the bench so that Y Black could get more reps. No, I'm not really open to any of those conversations. I think that Cam is playing pretty decent football right now, and he's 36 years old. And at the end of the season, the Steelers have to move on from anybody who is not part of like the next generation outside of like maybe 2 or 3 guys. And those 2 or 3 guys are TJ and Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, you're bang on. You're bang on.
Keeping it trucking here. Dougie frustrated. Shout out to Big Ben and how he used to throw the ball over the middle. Seems like forever. Canton bound 2027. Yeah, the Steelers, they did try to throw over the middle. They did it like twice, you know?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
didn't look awful. Didn't look awful. Ben in 2027, dude.
Middle of the field. Am I saying that correctly? Such a foreign concept.
Don't say that in the locker room, dude. That's how you get that's how you get beat up.
Middle of the
You walk into UPMC Rooney Sports Complex, the word middle doesn't even actually come out of your mouth. You could say it as much as you want, but nothing. There's no words. It's weird. It's just like you'll just be like, yeah, they should throw over the field. And it'll be like, yeah, you should throw on the field. You should throw on the field every single time. Shout out to Ben, dude. Shout out to Ben. Hopefully Mike D's still around when he gets inducted and not at Penn State. Edwin, is it me or is age starting to show in our defense after each halftime? Is it age or is it bad coaching? I think it's bad coaching. I don't think it's age. I think it's bad coaching. I think these guys I think Patrick Queen's young, Peyton Wilson's young, Derek Harmon's young, Wyatt Black's young, Keanu Benton's young, Nick Herbig's young, Alex Highsmith's young, Joey Porter Jr.'s young, Asante Samuel Jr.'s young, Kyle Duggar's only 29 years old. Like, I think it's coaching. I do think it's coaching.
It's not just that they're old. That's for sure. You know, like maybe there's some veterans to move on from. They did that already with Darius Slay. They should do that again with Cam Hayward maybe next season. But yeah, I agree with you, Noah. There's a lot of players who are in their rookie contracts here who are expected to play big roles. And I think it's bad coaching. And I think poor execution still remains, a problem. The scheme is bad, but you also can't deny that the Buffalo Bills absolutely demolished the Steelers along the line to the Steelers defense at the line of scrimmage. No, you can find me 3 plays where the Steelers won a majority of their blocking reps, and I will call you a liar.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you 100%. Sorry, dealing with the Art Rooney thing. I know, love Will Howard. Tyrod Taylor equals a good luck charm. Good luck, Chuck. Perfect movie ref.
That is exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking there's a movie where like women date this guy and then they meet their husband, and that's what it is. Good luck, Chuck. Thank you.
Crazy. Good luck, Chuck, dude. I've never seen it, as we all know. Michael, will you ask Arthur Smith if they can make Washington a part-time running back? Yeah, I don't think I can. I can't. Like there's like certain you can't. Yeah, like it's. I'll tell you this. I'll ask Arthur Smith as he's like walking away from the podium if I have the opportunity to just like BS with him for a moment or like have that quick conversation, which sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But you can't ask wild off the wall random questions in a press conference. Like if it's not making sense, if it's not aligned, if it doesn't seem professional, like you're not going to be invited to the next one. And I want to be at the next one. I like these. I enjoy them. And Darnell would just never, it would be awesome, but never. But you know what? If I run into him, I think we lost Jacob. If I run into him,
Loretta's back.
We got a dog. If I run into him somewhere, Loretta, you ask him. That's how we'll go about it. Pittsburgh Hornets. Florio said Tomlin would refuse a trade with the Giants to avoid losing assets. Do you think Tomlin would ever allow a trade for that reason? No,
I don't
no.
think so, but I'm just a dog.
Thanks for saying I'm just kidding. Appreciate you clarifying that. Appreciate you.
I didn't want you to think it was me.
I appreciate it. I was a little nervous for a second. I was like, "Whoo, bro, what did
Loretta's talking.
You were talking dog, dude? We have something big on our hands. Yeah. All Steelers talk has officially ended. We have now become the Talking Dog Show with Loretta. I don't think that Tomlin would allow a trade for that exact reason. And I said that earlier today. Like I just don't think that would. I don't think Tomlin would look at it and be like, "You're going to give up a first round pick for me? No, you could just fire me. Like that would be way better. You could just fire me and I'll go there instead."
Yeah, for sure.
Almost all-star. Any thoughts or locker room comments regarding the snap counts? No defense in the NFL with more. The offense has 52 less than the defense. I haven't heard any. This is what I'll tell you. A lot of offensive guys are taking the blame for this. A lot of DK, Aaron, those guys seem to be taking the blame for keeping the defense on the field as long as they are. I think that's 50-50. I think it goes both ways, but I could tell you, speaking to the locker room, it's a lot of offensive guys. Pittsburgh Hornets, which is more likely? The Ravens run for over 300 yards, or the Steelers make a statement win by holding the defense to the Ravens to single digits and winning by more than 20.5. Yikes. I hate this because I'm going to do it. I think what's more likely is 300 rushing yards.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like you earlier because like I hate that, but I think Derrick Henry going for 160 could happen easily. Lamar throws in a bunch, everyone else, the Ravens rushing attack always finds a way to really carve out the Steelers, and they consistently struggle with quarterbacks who can break out of containment in the pocket or out of the pocket. So yeah, man, but this is also like the way that this is going and how badly things feel and seem also kind of suggests to me, or the thought creeps into my mind that like this could just be like a statement game from the Steelers and then we're all just so confused on Monday. I don't know. I'm going to go with the Ravens rushing, but Pittsburgh Hornets might be on to some wild stuff here for this weekend.
It would be a good time. I know I love Will Howard, who secretly wants out after this season. Hi, Loretta. She's up good girl. I got some names that I think would want out of Pittsburgh this year or after this season that I think the Steelers will move on from. Jonnu Smith is one of them. I think potentially Jalen Ramsey could be one of them. I think Calvin might be wanting out of Pittsburgh after this season. I think Pat might be wanting out of Pittsburgh this season. I think Isaac is going to retire. That might be it. That might be my list. Am I missing anybody?
No, who like wants? No, I think that's a pretty good list.
I think that's it. I think that's the list. Carl Spackler, what's more likely? Tomlin post Pittsburgh has better or worse stats? I think Tomlin goes to any team and makes them ridiculous. I will stick to that. I think
better than his record, like with the Steelers, though. Like he's got a real. I
don't think you ever catch that, but I do think that Tomlin goes to a team and has a resurgence. I think stats wise, maybe. That's a really hard. Like you're comparing 19 years to like what 5? Like it's gonna be
yeah. Or like
it's gonna be skewed.
Do you think that'll be better or the same? Like something that you could take and.
Yeah, I don't think Tomlin goes to a team and makes them a losing team. I think Tomlin would have any team at 9-8. I
agree with that. The dude maybe can't turn them into Super Bowl teams, but he can take a really bad team and make them a little less bad.
I think Tomlin could go to a team and win I think it's the least surprising thing ever if Tomlin went to a team and won a Super Bowl within the first 3 years. Like
I agree with that too. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's totally fair. Totally fair.
Yeah. Almost all-star. Is it crazy for next year? Should/could TJ move to the middle? No. Should/could Patrick Queen transition to safety or Peyton Wilson transition to safety? No. Wouldn't Washington make more money at left tackle, more valuable to us? I think Darnell Washington getting absolutely blown up by who was it? Who did he get absolutely smoked by this past weekend too?
Oh, crap. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you remember the play, right? Like he
I do.
he 100% took on the left edge rusher. And I was like, what are you doing there? What are we doing? And I think that was the moment I realized, like, yeah, he probably could, but I think Darnell's a good tight end, man. I would say no to all three of these.
Comment says Montez Sweat.
Montez, yes, that was it. Yes, that was it for sure. I think it'd be fun, but no.
Washington's too much of an asset, like with the ball in his hands. You can't make him be a lineman. That boy needs, like, you need to get him the ball.
Yeah.
All game. Like he doesn't need to be blocking people. He needs to have the ball in his hands and running people over.
Yep. Yeah. Get rid of Jonnu and have Pat and Darnell be your two tight end set, and then use them properly all the time instead of having to transition three. Makes a lot of sense. Realish. Tomlin would be lethal in Tennessee with Cam Ward. Lethal's tough one, man, because I think Tennessee would be the only place where I'd look at it and go like, okay, maybe Tennessee you don't go 9-8. Maybe Tennessee you lose 11 games. Tennessee is an awful roster. I like Cam Ward. I don't like any other player on the Tennessee Titans. Jeffrey Simmons. I like Jeffrey Simmons.
Right.
That's it.
No, you're right.
That's where the list ends. That's where the list
ends.
Bad team. They're so bad. They're so bad. I think New York, though, maybe. Then we're going to finish it off with Wesley here. No, any update on the AST golf polos? I also think an AST golf quarter zip and or hoodie. There is hoodies. There are hoodies on our website, blackandgoldapparel.myshopify.com. The link is in the YouTube page, so hit that one. We got hoodies, golf polos, dude. I've been trying to find forever. It's so difficult to find a good golf polo or one that's not $80 for you guys to buy, which is just ridiculous to me. Quarter zips didn't think of. You might be onto something, brother. You might be onto something. I'll keep you posted on those. The hoodies are there. The golf polos, I'm trying. I'm trying. I promise. All right, guys. With that said, we're heading out of here. Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/All Steelers Talk. Check us out anywhere you get your podcasts. As always, find all of our work at si.com/NFL/Steelers. Before you head out of here, hit that like and subscribe button. We're getting so close to 60,000 guys. It's awesome. Can't thank you enough for that. And with that said, we'll be back later. Until then, enjoy another beautiful day in the Berg. Peace.